All right, good afternoon, everyone. We have a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Cape May. We are here in the Cape May City Hall Auditorium. Today is Tuesday, June 3rd, 2025. The time is now 3:35. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Dead mic.
Thank you. Under the Open Public Meetings Law, notice of this meeting was sent to the Cape May County Herald and the Press of Atlantic City, and a copy of the agenda was delivered to each member of City Council, posted on the city website and Cape May City Hall Bulletin Board. Notice is hereby provided that Cape May City Council meetings are audio recorded and/or video streamed live. Live video streams are posted to the Cape May City website. City of Cape May is not responsible if audio recording or live video streaming of a meeting is unavailable. Roll call. Councilmember Baldwin? Here. Councilmember Bodnar?
Here.
Deputy Mayor McDade? Here. Councilmember Meyer?
Here.
Mayor Mullock?
Here.
City Solicitor Gillenschwartz? Here. City Manager Dietrich?
Here.
Deputy Manager Riggs?
Here.
Deputy Clerk Turner? Here. CFO Haney? Here. Council, any additions or deletions tonight? I believe we have at least one addition, if you'd like me to go over that.
Anything else, Council? No, please go over that.
Sure. So we have Ordinance 567-2025, a bond ordinance providing for various water sewer utility improvements by and in the City of Cape May, County of Cape May, State of New Jersey, appropriating $8,750,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $8,750,000 bonds or notes of the city to finance the costs thereof. There's
Do
a
I have
motion to add.
Motion to add?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade?
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar?
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin?
Yes.
Mayor Mullock?
Yes.
Any other additions or deletions, Council?
I don't think so.
Okay, moving on to Employee of the Month, Mayor.
City Manager?
Thank you. This evening, we're going to talk about Jenny McCarthy. She's been in the purchasing office for, I think, almost her entire career with the city, or at least the last little bit. She's been with the city 23 years, and actually today is her 23rd anniversary as being an employee of the city. And, she's worked really hard. She's been a diligent worker and really knows her stuff up there in the finance office and helping everybody out. She's one of the ones that helps coordinate all the POs and the bill lists and gets everybody paid on a timely fashion here in the city. She's known for her killer sense of fashion. She has that smart wit that just it's always timeless. And and if you're always needing a sweet little treat, she's got a nice candy bowl that you can always get a little piece of chocolate from her. And the other thing that you really, if you see Jenny around town, her involvement with the Kiwanis Club is, when you talk about a volunteer in the community that really gives back, she's at almost every Kiwanis event and just giving back to the city more and more in that respect, and that's just really what makes her a great employee for the city. And that's why, I think between her being a great employee and that impact to the community is why I think her fellow employees voted her to be Employee of the Month today, for this month.
Thank you. I know Mr. Meyer would agree. Ms. McCaney not only had candy on her desk, but growing up in Cape May, if you ever wanted to get a little treat, you could stop by Mrs. McCaney's house there on Washington Street and get a little snack or something. And her door was always open, so we appreciate that, Mrs. McCaney. With that, we're on to an update from our Structured Learning Experience Program, Eddie Fauci.
I told him I would turn the green light on for him, so I'm helping him out here.
Chief Coulter, thanks for being here.
Yeah, no problem. I want to say that the intern program at the high school did was something that was new to us. Wildwood Fire had done it. We did it this year. And Eddie Fucci he's going to be a hard act to follow, an extremely hard act to follow. We've been trying to groom him into taking the test, getting EMT, getting his fire training and stuff. It's been phenomenal. We've expressed this with the school. We've been pushing for him to, after his college career, to hopefully come back and be part of our team. And he's been on, numerous calls. We've put him through a little bit of a gauntlet. We basically handed him the rookie book and said, "You're going to learn how to do this job." So he's been phenomenal. So I don't want to steal your thunder. This is your moment. Tell everybody all about it, all right?
Good afternoon, everyone.
Welcome,
Thank you
Eddie.
for having me. So basically what the work-based learning program is, it's a program through the Lower Cape May Regional High School. You go through an interview process, so I had to create an application, a resume, go through a whole face-to-face interview with the teachers, and you went through a whole selection process to pick out where you were going to go. And so what I decided to do was I wanted to be here at the fire department because as a lifeguard here in Cape May, I thought I would really like this first responding world, and what better way to do it than intern there for my last year of high school. And so twice a week, Wednesdays and Fridays, I would be here from 7:45 to 2:26, which is the normal school hours. And essentially I just learned the tricks of the trade, as they say, and learned how to become a firefighter and EMT. Throughout the whole process, it was kind of a learning curve because they had never done this before, and of course I had never done this before, but these guys, especially Dave Jackson and Ed Zabrowski, kind of took me under their wing and really helped me learn how to be confident, I think, is the real skill of what they do. They either teach me really good traits of quick decision making, learning what you did in your training and recalling it easily on calls. So they, put me through all that. Any other?
That's
Anything
awesome.
you guys like to know?
That's awesome. Congratulations, and thank you for doing it. And thank you, Chief Coulter and the rest of the team. It's just phenomenal experience.
Thank you guys for letting it happen too. So it's your
Eddie,
as well.
you're impressive in everything that you do. Seriously, if you don't know, Eddie grew up in Cape May, Cape Island, and is an Eagle Scout. I attended when you received your Eagle Scout, and just super impressive with the heart for the community and helping others. So whether you're a lifeguard or a firefighter or an Eagle Scout, you've always looked out for the community. So we look forward to seeing what you do in the future. We hope it's here in the city of Cape May.
Go back
Thank
and
you
tell
again,
your
guys.
fellow students what a great experience you had.
Oh, for 100% I will.
Have them
Yeah.
apply, yeah.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, on to updates and old business. City manager, any updates in old business?
Thank you. I just wanted to give a brief update. We're done towards the end of the first month of mercantiles being due May 1st, and looking over the report from Erin, I'm going to steal a little bit of her thunder so she doesn't have to chirp about it. But we've issued just under 1,200 permits to date. There's still about 230 delinquents from last year that haven't renewed. There's a batch of them that are, I'll say, in a holding pattern. They haven't submitted some documentation, or they still have some outstanding, whether it's a tax bill or a water sewer bill outstanding. So we're, at the end of this week, we're kind of handling this list over to code enforcement, and Erin's office has sent out numerous emails and physical mail to all these businesses, so they're fully aware and of their requirements. And now we're going to be handing this over to code enforcement to start tracking them down. And unfortunately, now the ticket book comes out when code enforcement comes out and sees them. But I just wanted to give a council an update on that. Got a report from the beach tag office. Through May and through Memorial Day, beach tag sales are a little bit sluggish compared to last year. I think the weather over this past month, we have definitely had a rainy spring, and it continued through most of May, and I'm sure that's what helped contribute to some of our beach tag sales. Some of our construction projects, we're going to be trying to wind them down on the summer. They're kind of just finishing up some of the different stuff in town, but within 2 weeks, all the different various, citywide construction projects will kind of be laying off for the winter, summer, and then coming back in the fall. And we have two unveilings coming up on next Tuesday, June 11th. We're going to be unveiling a marker out in front of the Franklin Street School County Library for the they've been nominated and put on the the New Jersey Black Heritage Trail. So there will be a marker unveiled. The state is coming down to unveil that marker, and then on Friday, I hate to say this, June 13th, at 1 o'clock, we'll be doing a grand opening with the Cape May County Board of Commissioners to open the nature trail. So so we got two openings next week
That's great.
to let the public know about. And with that, that's all I had this evening. Thanks.
I just want to thank you, too, for pushing some of the things to get done before Memorial Day weekend. I know Jackson Street was paved and striped and looks beautiful. Ohio looked great, repaved, and so, and the AME Church Park.
AME Church, they got their
Yeah.
stripe, they got
Yeah.
AME Church parking lot, got their stripes on there.
Yeah.
So it's all coming together.
Looks
For
great.
the season.
Thank you. City Solicitor?
Just wanted to give council and the public a heads up that there are likely to be some development ordinance amendments for consideration in discussions with a small group of council members and some of our land use staff, some clarifications to the R4 zone and site plan regulations. Those will be reviewed first by the planning board, and then will find its way to council just to get those comments and initial feedback first. But those are in draft form now, but eventually will be in the near future considered by the planning board. So keep it on the planning board's agenda for when those may be considered and discussed.
Okay, thank you. Any updates or old business, City Council? No? Okay, we can go on to the discussion, limiting extension of premises applications for liquor licenses. Do we,
It's not on the agenda.
okay, I'm sorry. So we've had a discussion among council individuals about limiting the extension of premises applications for liquor licenses. Solicitor, could you give us a quick update as to where we're at with an ordinance for that?
So I think that there's been some informal internal discussion about, I guess you would call it relatively recent applications that we've seen. And post-COVID, I think City Council saw a string of liquor license transfers, expansion of premises, person-to-person transfers, probably more so than we've seen in recent memory just because of the real estate sales that were going on at that time. What came out of that discussion is we saw at least two instances of expansion of premises of one license expanding into an adjoining property, which was previously operated as a bar or licensed establishment, but essentially taking one license and just expanding it over to to that property as part of a land purchase. That has the effect of expanding that single license. It also has the effect of creating a pocket license in the context of the sale. So I think one of the policy considerations that council is maybe considering is whether the city wants to see that type of thing in the future. And this is not, it sounds a little like a zoning concern, but you would be looking at this strictly from the vantage point of being the licensing authority for the city of Cape May. You know, that liquor license authority, you know, you can determine where specifically liquor licenses should go. It's not just a zoning consideration. It can be, but you have the authority to specifically look at how and when and why and how, you know, all those considerations of where those things should be in town. So this is kind of like a discussion item for council, whether you want to provide specific direction for that. I will tell you that I don't think you necessarily need to do that unless you have a clear rule in mind as to how you want to approach that, because you still retain the ability to review every one of these applications, just like we did before, the numerous ones that came in. You review them on a case-by-case basis, and the analysis is always based on what's in the public interest. And you have a broad range of discretion to make those policy determinations on a case-by-case basis based on the specific facts and circumstances of that particular property and that particular application. So, in other words, in the absence of making some ordinance, this is not going to prevent you from looking at an application that comes in and is, for example, expanding into a location that was not licensed before. That would be a different scenario than the more recent applications that we saw. But you also have to consider, the creation of effectively a pocket license when you allow for the expansion into another licensed premises, and effectively the person that's selling is now pocketing a license, and then it becomes, where does that go next? So those are the kind of policy issues that are out there. There's a ordinance would potentially limit those, a draft ordinance that would potentially limit those expansions to places that are already licensed. But that doesn't prevent you from, evaluating that concern in a particular license application as well.
So,
Go ahead, please.
Just a quick clarification, because that, in that draft ordinance, it does talk about the precedent, or we're not setting a precedent by the two that we did expand. And I think that was the, kind of like the basis for a lot of this.
Sure. No, I don't think that council has set a precedent, because in each of those instances that we saw, those are unique locations in town. There's a common denominator in that they were expanding into premises that was already licensed before. But you still have to take into account where it is, the effect on the surrounding property may be different in each of those cases. So no, I don't think just because you did it there, you have to do it here. I don't buy that argument. I don't buy that argument in the zoning context either. Property is unique. The placement of these liquor licenses is equally unique, and those concerns are unique to each particular property. So I don't think you're boxed in, is my point.
So I had two questions, Mr. Gillenschwartz. One, the two prior instances were adjoining. I've never understood really what the definition of is. Contiguous, adjoining, property line shared. Is that really what the parameters are for this type of a scenario?
Yeah, I don't want to get into like every
Okay,
hypothetical
all right.
here about
Fair enough.
that, but that's why you have to take into consideration each particular application.
Okay.
In those instances that council approved, council did approve them, and I think that there was a rational basis and a basis in the law for doing that. But my point is, you have to take into consideration the relationship between whatever property is being proposed in every application. And that sounds probably like legal mumbo jumbo right now, but my point is, we can do an ordinance if you want to prohibit a certain placement, and that would be under your authority as the liquor license authority. But if you don't do that, it doesn't mean that anything goes.
Can I
That's
ask
my
a question
point.
about that? In the potential ordinance, we would be limiting expansion into a non-liquor license holding establishment. Is that something that could be appealed to the zoning board as a variance?
No.
Ask if it would go before planning because it was a change in
Right,
use.
yeah,
As a
there-
site
like, for
plan.
one
where
of the
you-
boards.
Right.
So that's the other thing that you keep in mind with this, is that independent of the liquor license issues, there's always the zoning issues. And in every one of those applications that we saw, there was a zoning review that the city clerk and I went through with the zoning officer and the zoning office to flush out any initial zoning issues. before it got to the council table. And only when those issues were resolved did it come to council table. So there was either a memorandum from the board engineer or from the zoning officer that, this proposed use or this proposed application does not implicate the need for board relief. And if it did, they would have to go to the board. That's before it gets to council. And we don't have to add that in the ordinance. That's already baked into our process.
My concern is, and this is not an answer, it's a question. My concern is a business owner purchases a property adjacent or next to or behind their liquor license holding property and believes then that they would have the opportunity to transfer that license or absorb that license, for lack of a better term. Then we tell them no. Again, this is all hypothetical, but I'd much rather have the rules laid out there so that they don't spend $1 million thinking this is going to be an easy liquor license expansion, and city council just denied us, and I just lost, $1 million or whatever. I'm just saying I'd rather have this very clear than have to deny someone as an applicant. After the fact.
After they've
yeah.
made the investment. So, I mean,
That'd be a stupid investment.
Yeah, well, it would be, but I think to the point that Councilwoman Baldwin made, although we haven't set precedent, in the minds of someone on the other side of this who purchases a business adjacent to their existing liquor license, they may believe the precedent has been set, or it's arguable.
I have another concern. I don't know if there's potentially a business out there that's looking to expand, but if any of us are aware of that and we form a ordinance and it gets passed and before they apply for this expansion, could they claim that we molded the ordinance to not allow this particular person to expand their license? I mean, could that hurt us if we did that? And could they claim that we only made this ordinance to not allow this particular application?
No, and as long as the language doesn't say this particular property owner can't do it, if it's, or any ordinance that we would put out there would be generally applicable, not intended to pick out a particular property owner. It would be a citywide policy about what do we want in terms of our liquor license policies and where these things are located. That's what the ordinance would, that's what the current draft, which is not in the packet or anything like that, but that's what we're talking about is, do you want to put that policy out there, or do you want to just wait for the applications to come in and review them on a case-by-case basis? You can take either approach.
If we put that policy out there, like the mayor was saying, it's like a stopgap. Okay, wait a minute, maybe I should reconsider this, but we can also still approve it as a contiguous license the way that the draft is written,
The way that,
based on, this individual situation.
yeah, I mean, it depends on how the ordinance is drafted, really. I mean, but you have the ability to review this on a case-by-case basis right now. We're not stuck with any precedent. Just because some expansion of premises in one area was approved doesn't mean you get it here. And to the concerns about somebody buying a property on the off chance that council and the zoning board or planning board may just say yes to this, usually sound business practice and planning includes some due diligence in those types of agreements and contracts to say that, well, I'm buying this because I think I can expand it. And if you're smart, you're going to include a contingency to apply. And if you don't get it, maybe the deal doesn't go through.
You're talking about contingency of approval?
Yeah, if I'm the business owner thinking about that, I'm thinking, well, if this is the only reason I'm doing it, I want to make sure that I can do it. And if they say no, maybe I don't proceed with the deal.
I mean, that's really sound advice, because I've seen a number of zoning board applications that would ask for, 15 or more variances, and then they shouldn't have purchased the property before they passed all that.
But that's also not the city's problem that somebody backed themselves into that. We're not, there's no automatic liquor license approval here or anywhere else in the state. It's, you're subject to a review for the public interest. That's the standard. So you come in and it's a lot of these applications, by the time they got to council table, were run through the ringer. They did the notice, they got the background check, they went through zoning, and some of them had to curtail and cut back their applications so that they would comply with zoning or didn't have to go to the board. And if you have to go to the board, you have to go to the board. And that's still the case if we do nothing. If you leave it alone, that's going to continue to be the case. All that this provision might do is give a preview of, this is a bridge too far for the city of Cape May. Maybe we don't want to expand into places that weren't previously licensed.
Does this involve also the police department? Don't they review this as well?
Yeah, they do background checks on person-to-person transfers.
But they don't give an opinion on expansion or impact of the city, do they?
Typically, like, we have some liquor licenses on for approval later this evening for the renewals. The police get more involved in the operational standpoint of conditions that we might want to set on a property or a facility. That's usually when police gets involved, is on the operational end.
And that's a yearly discussion, as we had this year, just making sure that the special conditions are up to date for that particular property.
Okay. Well, let me ask this, counsel. The solicitor has a draft ordinance. All I'd ask for is for everyone to review that. I ask you to get back to me, just tell me what you think, individually, how you feel about that draft, yes or no, and then we'll decide whether it should be on the next agenda. Is that reasonable?
Sure.
Okay. All right, good?
Can I just summarize that a little bit?
Yep.
And I just want to make clear that if you don't adopt an ordinance, I don't view this as the city's exposed here. We're just going to continue to review them on a case-by-case basis. But as you pointed out, if you do an ordinance, it may put everybody on notice as to these are the types of things. It's going to provide clear direction, I think, for applicants, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
Perfect. Okay, thank you. On to ordinances for introduction.
Yes. First, we have 562-2025, an ordinance amending Section 368-2 of the City Code regarding prohibited conduct in park and recreation areas to prohibit dogs on the nature trails at Lafayette Street Park.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments, council? I'll just say quickly, Mr. Meyer, thank you for working on this. I appreciate it, and thank you for your patience on it today.
Thank you.
Anything else, council? Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
563-2025, an ordinance providing minimum parking limitations and regulations for all vehicles in the city of Cape May.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments, council? Okay, roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
564-2025, bond ordinance providing for various water and sewer utility improvements by and in the city of Cape May, county of Cape May, state of New Jersey, appropriating $2,355,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,355,000 bonds or notes of the city to finance the cost thereof.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Questions, comments? Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
565-2025, bond ordinance providing for various beach utility improvements by and in the city of Cape May, county of Cape May, state of New Jersey, appropriating $2 million therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2 million of bonds or notes of the city to finance the costs thereof.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
And next we have 566-2025. There was a typo on the original agenda. The documents were correct, just the title was incorrect. I made that revision today, so I will be reading the correct title of Bond Ordinance Providing for Various 2025 Capital Improvements by and in the City of Cape May, County of Cape May, State of New Jersey, appropriating $4,620,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $4,400,000 bonds or notes of the city to finance the part of the cost thereof.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make them,
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Questions or comments? Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
And we have added 567-2025, Bond Ordinance Providing for Various Water Sewer Utility Improvements by and in the City of Cape May, County of Cape May, State of New Jersey, appropriating $8,750,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $8,750,000 bonds or notes of the city to finance the cost thereof.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Questions or comments?
Yes, this was something, I know that there's some grant money that's out there, and the way that things were worded, I'd like to have that clarified
Sure.
for the public.
So this is a unique bond, and I don't think the city has done a bond or a project with the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank for quite some time, so not in recent memory. So it's probably good to just go over how the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank works. So New Jersey Infrastructure Bank is essentially the DEP, State of New Jersey. They develop and help fund large capital projects, usually in the water, sewer, infrastructure, and to help, and they use some of their clean grant money to help fund these projects statewide. Works a little bit differently than other grant programs. You know, some like our DOT grant programs, we get the award letter, we award the contract, we get 75% of the project. When we award the contract, we finish the project, close it out, they give us the balance, and then we get that, you know, whether it's $100,000, couple $100,000. New Jersey Infrastructure Bank works different. It's not really a grant, it's principal loan forgiveness. So so that's why we have to bond the entire project, and then as the bond payments come up, we've been earmarked for our two projects. That's why you see that it's broken into two groups. We're getting $3 million in the one group, $2 million forgiveness in the second group, and that's the max that we're eligible under. You know, each municipality can have these kind of aggregate limits, and so we're getting what we can. And then, so that portion, when our bond payments come up, essentially, we just don't have to pay that money because the bond is actually going to be funded through the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank itself. So that's who will be bonding these projects for us, as opposed to really going out to bond on the private market. And that's how they aggregate all these projects and get better bond rates for these infrastructure projects. So when they come due, we'll pay a portion of it, but it essentially will be less $5 million out of that loan forgiveness. So that's kind of how it works. Just I gave a little extra just so that the public can kind of gets the feel and understanding. So, you know, we're essentially getting $5 million grant on what will most likely be about $7 million, $7.5 million worth of road work. And I included a map for everybody just to recall. So this is projects on Stockton Place, Beach to Columbia, Idaho Avenue, Pittsburgh to Reading, Ohio Avenue, Reading to Philadelphia, Illinois Avenue, Pittsburgh to Michigan. So that's 4 blocks on Illinois. And then Washington Street up between Sydney and where Texas Avenue comes in, Yacht Avenue comes in that small section. So that's large number of streets. So we're talking about total water main replacement, sewer main replacement services, road reconstruction, and curbs and gutters. So it's a full projects, and to get $5 million back, it's worthwhile to get this kind of work done. And this kind of, now we're leading, you know, now that we've done a lot of our lead, you know, now we've gone beyond our lead service line replacements. Now we're looking at the projects that were identified during our I&I study that the city did and identifying, okay, which projects had I&I issues, and we know that I&I issues cost us more because if we have I&I on our sewer flows, that means we're paying more to groundwater, stormwater flowing into our sewer system that then therefore we're having to pay to have treated. So this will not only help reduce our overall sewer bill to the Cape May County MUA.
Yeah, it's really a great program, and $5 million loan forgiveness is huge. And I will say, too, I think this goes back some time to that I&I study, allowed us to make a really solid application of, okay, here's the real need, and that's one of the reasons we could get a $5 million loan forgiveness. So nice work, and thank you.
You're welcome. And this
Any,
is also, so this is a little bit off schedule from the others, because the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank, they run you through, our engineer and bond counsel has jumped through hoops upon hoops to be able to do this such on a short time frame that we actually have to have this bond ordinance done by end of calendar in June. We also have to potentially award a contract for that. So we're looking to have a special meeting for both that award of that contract and the public hearing and adoption of this bond ordinance the last week in June, just to make sure that we can have a closing and be still eligible for these funds.
Great. Thank you, City Manager. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments?
One additional comment. I know that the $5 million is out there. They're saying that we're going to get it. I just want to, talk to council a little bit, because we're looking at bonding, the way that this ordinance is written is we're looking at bonding the 8.7. We should know by the end of the month, have things finalized with all of that. We can always reject things after the fact. I just want to make sure that $5 million is coming in.
Will we receive a document to that effect for discussion?
We'll have closing documents by then to show
Okay.
how it's,
We're only, putting this in motion at this
Right.
point, but if that.
And we often do these kinds of bond ordinances, but it doesn't actually mean we're going out to market at this point in time, so.
correct.
Yeah, good point, yeah. Mhm. Yep.
And that's provided in Section 4 of the ordinance, too. Whether you receive it before or after the notes are issued, it's intent that if we get the funds, they'll be applied towards this.
Okay. Okay, any other questions or comments? Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes,
Councilmember Bodnar,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
Moving on to ordinance for second reading and consideration for adoption, we have 559-2025, ordinance amending Chapter 7 of the Code regarding metered parking and incorporating the Cape Island Baptist Church parking lot pursuant to city use agreement. And there is a public hearing tonight, Mayor.
Is anyone here wishing to speak on ordinance 559? Sir? While we're waiting, if you don't know, Cape Island Baptist Church just had their new pastor start just the other day, and Pastor Ben, really nice guy, so welcome to the community. Hello, sir, sorry, how are you? Welcome.
Sir, excuse me, could you speak into the microphone for us, please? State your name and address for us.
Yeah, my name is Peter Garcia, and my wife and I have owned 705 Kearney Avenue since 1983. We are neighbors to Cape Island Baptist Church. And we had, regarding the ordinance of 559, had a couple of concerns. The first is the ordinance, in the ordinance copy I have, was sent to me by Mr. Turner, indicates that there would be no overnight parking allowed. And I wanted to know if the signs, we would want to know if the signs would say that specific prohibition, and also whether the police will enforce that rule against overnight parking.
I think that's intended to, consistent with other city lots. We don't want members of the public to view that as just park your car here overnight. But it's still, the city has use of that it's still church property, right? So the city has an agreement with the church. That agreement may end sometime in the future. We're not providing that as a public place of stay here and park your car overnight. However, there's also a provision in there for parking passes for the church, because, right, the church is still going to be having use of that lot, and there'll be parking passes that are going to be,
That if the passes are on the car overnight, then they're fine.
exactly.
But if there's no passes on the car, will the police, and our main concern is really not the parking overnight. It's, about a month ago, a camper came in there and was there overnight with a dog, and there have been other incidents of that use of the parking lot overnight when, people, we share about an 80-foot property line and with a grassy patch, and people have sometimes used it as a, bathroom. So, as I said, will the signs say no overnight parking, and can police enforce that if it's not, okay. Will the signs say overnight parking, and can the police enforce that if it's not approved by the church?
Yes, I mean, if the agreement with the church provides that the city's has the ability to regulate the public use of that lot. Out of respect for the property owner, the city wanted to include a no overnight parking limitation, and if council adopts that, that's going to be enforced like any other provision.
Okay, will it be, I have the copy I have has a shaded language there. Is that part of the
Yes.
statute?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Does that answer your question?
I think so. I hope so. As I said, our main concern is just people sleeping there overnight, which has happened. So, and if the one other possibility of preventing that is, could there be regular, in the midnight shift, could that be added to the regular patrol function, like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m., just check out the parking lot, Is that possible?
We'll look into that, yes.
Can I just, I mean, this ordinance makes it more regulated than it is today. Now-
Correct.
Now, if you were to call us and say, we're unsure of what's going on, and then the police could come by.
Oh, yeah, that might happen, but I'd rather not have to call, because I really don't want to be singled out as a complainer and constant watcher, but we have our back windows open in the summer all the time, and there've been some gatherings out there that have not been, always lawful. So, as I said, if it just could be part of the police patrol function in the midnight shift, we would really appreciate that, to just check out the parking lot 1 a.m., 2 a.m., like that. I appreciate you hearing me out, and I appreciate all you do as usual.
Thank you.
Very complicated stuff in this town. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else on 559? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments, council? Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes, and I know I speak for everyone when we say thank you to Cape Island Baptist Church for the agreement, and I think it's very mutually beneficial and will be a good thing for both the city, our tourists, and the church, so thank you. With that, we can move on to the public portion on resolutions only. Anyone wishing to speak on resolutions this evening, please come to the microphone, state your name and address, and thank you.
Stacy Shan, 928 Columbia Avenue. I have a question about the Resolution 200-06 concerning the $110,000 professional service contract to Conley. I guess I was surprised about the amount to Conley for this, considering I thought it was just going to be a bump out into lifeguard headquarters. But then I also saw that was $1.7 million for buildings for on the boardwalk that included lifeguard headquarters. So I guess my question was, are we expecting this bump out to be that expensive?
It's not just a bump out, so it's a total renovation inside also.
So it's going to be about $1 million?
Yes, that's the estimate.
Okay, $1 million for adding on a women's locker room and some upgrades.
It's a total renovation of the building.
But we're not going up,
We're not going up,
and we're adding on, I think it's 12 feet out the back?
about that off the back, and then in the front, we're expanding about 6 feet.
Okay. Because I was still surprised that we didn't go out to bid for this and that we just went along with that
It will be
amount.
put out to bid.
Yeah, the project will be bid.
But no, I'm talking about the professional contract given to
That's
Rob
not how it
Conley.
works. You can't have someone design it for you and then put it out to bid. You have to hire someone to design it.
Right, but I guess I was surprised that we didn't hire somebody, or we just went with him for
Well,
designing.
we went with him, frankly, because we've had a good history with him, and his rate is basically a pretty standard rate. I mean, I think it's the standard of like 10% or something like that.
And council awarded Rob Conley as a professional services at the beginning of the year at reorganization as essentially your architect of record, for projects that came up. So he worked on the preliminary scoping for the project that we presented, and so we just moved on and continued.
Okay,
with
then
But importantly, the project will be bid out, and hopefully it comes in cheaper, I hope.
Okay. My next question has to do with Resolution 20406, having to do with the stipend for Jason Dilworth for $16,000. My question is, I know that we have a stipend list that you go off, that's approved on what the stipend is. Is this on that approved stipend list, or is this going to be added to it?
That's why they're doing the resolution.
To add it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's consistent with the procedure that was established by ordinance, so that if it's not on the salary ordinance, that there is a separate authorization during the course of the year.
Is this going to be added on there permanently?
Yes. When we revise it, the salary ordinance, which will probably be done, we're going through the several collective bargaining agreements. So once they're done, we'll probably submit a revised salary ordinance to kind of agglomerate the salary changes from those contracts.
Okay, so this isn't going to be another stipend added to it, it's just going to be changing his salary later on?
No, this will be a stipend for.
For the future?
Yes.
Okay, because I know with the other stipends, there was job responsibilities for certain stipends that were supposed to be listed out of what these would be. Are they going, because I don't see anything about what the increased responsibilities are that might be contingent on what his actual job is.
So the construction office is fairly unique, that the different inspectors.
I thought he was in
and
fire.
Was that?
He's in fire?
No, he's fire subcode official. So
fire
he's in the
subcode.
construction, it's a construction office, so he's going to be our fire subcode official, that he's the individual that reviews the building plans that when they come in for building construction permits.
And he's right now, he's on a full-time position, correct?
He's currently the city building code official.
For 40 hours or whatever it is?
Yes,
Full-time.
part-time,
and
for
this will be-
part-time,
And this will be an additional?
correct.
Okay, thank you for your clarification.
Thank you. Anyone else on resolutions this evening? You didn't, but at the end, we'll have open public comment. What it is this is first reading. Second reading, next council meeting, we'll have public comment, but you're welcome to speak on it tonight under regular open comment, yeah.
Jules Rouse, 1010 New York Avenue. Just a couple little clarifications, if I may. 19506 is the annual July 4th. Who pays for the fireworks? Do we pay for those, or we pay part of that? I don't recall.
We pay per part of it.
A smaller
A small
part
part,
of it.
yeah,
Small part.
a small part.
And 19606, waiver of special event fees. This is an expensive project for the city to undertake from a standpoint of police, fire, EMT, public works. And we have an ordinance that says, or speaks to the issue of the expenses being incurred for profit-making organizations to reimburse the city for those expenses. And I think it's only appropriate, since this is a project where they're getting a liquor license, they're going to be selling alcohol. that that the city be reimbursed for our out-of-pocket expenses. And that's been consistent with what we've done in the past.
It's,
So just to clarify, since adopting the special event ordinance a couple years ago, where the city can seek reimbursement for expenses incurred for special events, the Chamber of Commerce, he's referencing Oktoberfest, correct?
Yes.
Every year, council has waived those fees, that they've not altered from that. Is the chamber for-profit or are they nonprofit? They're
Well,
nonprofit, so.
They are a nonprofit, but this
Yeah,
is
they're a nonprofit,
profit-making
and
event.
every year since enacting the special event ordinance, council has chosen to waive those fees, but that's up for discussion, if council so chooses.
I just raise it as an expense for someone who's having an organization activity in the city that they're going to make money on. So, and the 197 and 198 are, with approving the renewals, does that take care of all of the licenses from the city, or is there still some that are?
Most, but not all. There's a few stragglers that we will address at the next meeting on the 17th.
and if I could just to jump on that one, the police did do a thorough review of all the special conditions, met with several of the establishments to go over the special conditions and making sure that they're following the proper procedures that they need, that they are ensuring that they're complying with the different ABC rules and regulations. So the police did do a pretty good review of all of the liquor licenses.
Thank you. 201, there's an authorization for approving an expansion of $61,000 for the construction of the nature trails. Is that $61,000 part of the grant, or is this going to be cash taxpayers' money?
Well, it's kind of a little bit of both, because it's a percentage, we pay a percentage of the overall grant, but the project was underneath of the original grant allotment, so it's still going to be covered as far as in the same percentage that we would have previously. And this was necessary to construct the sidewalk out to Broad Street, as well as putting up the security fencing along the entire rear of the elementary school. Initially, it only covered the corner of the elementary school, and when we really started looking at it, we felt that the safety for the school was paramount, so we felt that we needed to add that for that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And that did, just expand on that, come as a request from the school and the school board, which we thought was very reasonable to do as part of the project. And just to further expand, looking at the plans on a sheet of paper, it seems you would think there's like a lot of woods in between and not really necessary for a fence, but as you go along and you realize, okay, hey, the school's right there, you're going to have a lot of people walking through here. Let's obviously protect that as closely as we can, so thank you. Anyone else for resolutions this evening? Seeing none, we can close public comment on resolutions. Pardon me. Do I have I'm sorry. Go ahead, clerk.
Consent
Thank
agenda?
you.
Yeah.
Yes, consent
So,
agenda.
is there anything that council would like to remove from the consent agenda this evening?
Anything, council?
Can I remove 19706/2025, please?
Yes. And I have two recommendations, if council doesn't mind. One is to, go ahead. Yeah. 202, absolutely. I would recommend removing 198 and 205 just for some typo amendments that I'll discuss.
Sure. Okay. Anything else? Do we need a motion? That's okay.
Not to remove, we'll go over those individually if you're comfortable.
Okay.
Is there anything else that you'd like to remove, council?
Anything? Do I have a motion on all of the resolutions other than what was mentioned?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer?
Yes, but I'll be abstaining from the March 25th meeting.
Deputy Mayor McDade?
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar?
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin?
Yes.
Mayor Mullick?
Yes.
Okay. So going back to 19706-2025, resolution approving alcoholic beverage license renewals for the 2025-2026 license year.
Do I have a motion?
Oh, hang tight one second.
That's right.
I'm sorry, bear with me one moment. I think we might have switched some numbers around. Yeah, so in your packets, 197 should be the club licenses. So it looks like they got swapped on the agenda.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're both the licenses.
Yeah, they're both
one's
licenses.
the-
So
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
197 is the club licenses for the 2025-26 license year.
How would you like us to correct it? Should we correct the actual resolutions?
Or correct the agenda.
On the resolution.
Yeah,
The resolution is correct. On the agenda, they got swapped.
yeah.
So
No, we pulled 197, we did.
we actually pulled
Oh,
both of
you-
them. They're just,
Yeah,
titles
pulled
are
both of
swapped.
them.
You pulled it from the actual resolution, not
Yeah.
from the agenda. Okay, I just want to make.
Yes, correct, Councilwoman Baldwin? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
All right.
I think it's been,
How would you like us to, how would you like us to
We
vote? on
pulled both of those, so let's just, you guys can act on 197 being the club licenses. That's what's
Okay.
in your packets, that's what was on the website.
it? Okay, so the club licenses, do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call? Or questions or comments, anyone? Sorry. Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade?
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar?
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin?
Abstain,
Mayor Mullick?
Yes.
just because I'm a member of one of them.
Understood.
And 19806-2025 is resolution approving alcoholic beverage license renewals for the 2025-2026 license years. These are the retail consumption licenses.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Questions or comments?
I am recommending an amendment to that council has already received to remove Madison Cape May FB LLC from the resolution. They were not included in the special conditions. They were on there by mistake. They've not yet fully renewed their license, paid for their license. So if we could remove them from the resolution this evening,
Do we need a motion for that, or
please.
I'll make the motion.
do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes. Do I have a motion on the resolution excluding the prior, the one we just excluded?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
Thank you for bearing with me on that one. And 202-06-2025, resolution approving a memorandum of agreement between the City of Cape May and IAFF Local 3495.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
And 205-06-2025, resolution for the payment of bills.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments?
That is one that I asked to be amended as well. There was a copy and paste typo error that council already received. The updated resolution was missing. The bill pay was correct. The resolution itself was missing some information. The website was updated correctly, and you have the updated version in front of you if you'd like to amend to add the correct information.
Motion, do I have a motion to amend?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodwiner,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes. Do I have a motion on the amended Resolution 205?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call?
Councilmember Meyer,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor McDade,
Yes.
Councilmember Bodnar,
Yes.
Councilmember Baldwin,
Yes.
Mayor Mullick.
Yes.
All right.
public portion. Anyone wishing to speak on any and all matters, please come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Beth.
Hi, Beth Acker. Thank you. Beth Acker, I live at 637 Hughes Street in Cape May, and I'd like to make a comment about the proposed ordinance regarding the nature trails on Lafayette Park, and that there are no dogs being allowed. I feel that this punishes full-time residents and residents alone. I have a dog that came to me 2 years ago on doggy Prozac. Now, there are times when I want to battle her about whether I want to give her the Prozac or I should be taking it myself, but normally she does get it. She's very sensitive, and we've just worked really hard in the last 2 years to get her to even walk on the street. Now, I think that we can meet a compromise on this, that it doesn't have to be no dogs at any time, because you look at the promenade, okay, we allow the bikes until 10 o'clock in the morning. So why not allow the dogs on the pathway to a certain period of time? Or maybe eliminate them on weekends or any time that you think it's going to be busier. I'd like us to look at this and give it a period of time first to see if there really are issues with it. Not perceived issues, but whether or not there truly are issues. My understanding, I've heard from several people that said that the citizens have been really very, very well behaved, walking their dogs, picking up the remains of anything that a dog has left. And we're excited that we actually would have a place that we could walk the dogs. Can't do it on the promenade, can't do it on the beach during the season. Okay, can't do it on the mall, which I agree with these things, okay, but I would like a place that we could be a little more dog friendly. Not necessarily a dog park, because not every dog, including mine, would be able to handle a dog park. Okay, that being said, I want to thank you guys for all the hard work you do. And I seriously, the few times I've been up here, I have expressed my appreciation for everything you do. I look around at everything that's been added, I find it amazing. And the miracle of all miracles, you didn't raise taxes. So I thank you very much, and I would like you to reconsider blanking out all dogs. See if we can't come up with a compromise that the residents could also enjoy. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Address that? I really, I thank you for your comments, and I have received emails on both sides of the argument, and the emails of the citizens that said, I support having dogs on the trail. I support you having your dog on the trail. I don't support somebody I don't know having their dog on the trail. And as you all know, I've put a lot of thought into this. If we were to allow dogs on the trail, it should work the same way as a dog park permit does. Not anybody can just go to that dog park. You have to have a permit that proves that your dogs are vaccinated and you have a license. If that was the case and we were able to police it, I'd be all for letting people take their dogs. And it's just,
And not to have retractable leashes, because I think that that is a somewhat of a dangerous situation, given the proximity of the space. So, I mean, it could be something, you know, we probably need, we just passed this, we passed it first, and then we just passed it again. So it's been a little bit like a ping pong, but, you know, it might be that something we should discuss internally and see whether or not, you mentioned certain times of the year, certain times of the day, you know, maybe that's something we can take a look at or talk about and see whether or not we're sort of amenable to that.
So just to be
Yeah.
clear, because we didn't just pass it, we introduced it.
yes.
Ju-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just for everyone's, you know,
Yeah.
so.
Sorry.
But your point remains, yes, we've gone back and forth a little bit. And I appreciate your comments, and it's something definitely to think about. And Mr. Meyer, I appreciate your comments. I mean, I don't know if people, we had some issues recently too at the dog park, so it's, you know, it's a difficult discussion. I agree with that.
I agree
No,
completely.
we agree, yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
We-
And maybe it's an off-season thing.
Right.
And I feel, I'm sorry about that. And, you know, it's not, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of dog droppings in the off-season, then all of a sudden you do. But anyway. Thank you very much. Please, and anyone else after?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also want to commend you and the council. Before my husband outed us to you, we were actually on the path before the barricade went up, and it's magnificent. So thank you
Ma'am,
all.
excuse
for
me. I'm
getting
so
through
sorry.
that.
Can you
I'm
please
sorry,
state your
Joan
name and
Dempsey,
address?
665 Hugh Street. Sorry. I also want to support Ms. Acker, and we walk our dogs on the sidewalk, which was much more narrow and frankly more dangerous, and always a challenge because the sidewalks are crowded. And I would think that a path like the one that you all have built, as long as there is a restriction to it and there's a way to monitor or at least hold people accountable, would be much preferable to being on busy city sidewalks. So, and I agree with Beth that it's mostly the residents who are going to be using the path most of the time, and we'd like to see the residents get the maximum benefit for it. So I hope you will take that into consideration when you do vote on it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else this evening? Or I guess it's still afternoon.
I'm Leslie Fogg, 108 Trenton Avenue, Cape May. I'd actually like to take a different approach. I am a full-time resident here, former dog owner. I currently do not own a dog. I live on a very busy street corner myself in town. I might as well have a million dogs, everything that goes on around me. Our culture has changed, as many of you know. Once upon a time, when people came to Cape May, they would leave their dogs with their vet or board them. Everybody brings dogs to Cape May. We know it's an issue. It's an issue on the mall. It's an issue on the boardwalk or promenade. As someone who is an advocate for nature, dogs are not allowed in Cape May Point within the park. They can be a nuisance to wildlife. I would like to see the wildlife protected, and I would also like, as someone who believes that dogs have a place in society, they don't have to be everywhere. There are other options for walking a dog. I appreciate everything you both said, but there are other options. They don't have to be everywhere. They're in the Walmart, they're in the Acme, they're everywhere. I just don't see the need for it. And I think wildlife is a larger consideration. Paths are narrow. Let's protect them. Thank you.
Thank
And again,
you.
I too thank you for everything you do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sharon?
Hello, Sharon Lee Custra, resident 1037 Michigan Avenue, 31 years, Vice President School Board, Cape May City Elementary School. On behalf of the school board of the Cape May City Elementary School, I would like to deeply thank the current Cape May City administration for making the new nature trails behind our school a true possibility. It has been the board's dream before the Lafayette Park project came into being in 2014 to create a nature trail behind our school. The 20 or more pristine wetland acres are a gem of educational resources for our school children, and a gem of natural beauty intrinsic to Cape May City itself. The new nature trail, named Phase 4, in the Lafayette Park project years ago, has always been at the forefront of the board agenda. When the official concept of the nature trail behind our school was formulated with the city, we were ecstatic. It was to be a trail that would traverse the ground with walkways and then span above the wetlands with elevated walkways and 4 observation decks. We, the school board, waited with bated breath that hopefully this nature walk would materialize, both for our students in the guise of their curriculum and the public's education and enjoyment in general. The conceptual creation of this trail has been fathered by 3 different Cape May City administrations. We especially are thankful to the current Cape May City administration for pursuing the actual construction and completion of our dream to a conclusion. In end, the school board of Cape May City Elementary School sincerely would like to thank the current Cape May City administration, and in particular, Cape May County, for making our dream possible. This is a dream that can now be shared with the students of Cape May City, the residents of Cape May City, and all those who visit the trails. A once hidden gem is now accessible to everyone thanks to Cape May City and Cape May County. And as an aside, if I may, on behalf of the school board at our last school board meeting, we love animals, we love dogs, but we are worried about the safety of the people and the safety of the pets themselves. So we endorse you amending the dog ordinance. Thank you so much, and congratulations for getting it done.
Thank you, Sharon. Please thank the school board, too. As you said, it's been a bit of a journey, but I can't wait to see the kids.
But a very wonderful ending.
It's going to be
Yes,
beautiful.
so thank you all who participated. We
Thank you very much. Thank you. Whatever phase we're on, but.
Jules Roush, 1010 New York Avenue. This evening, we've approved bond ordinances. I guess if we add the last one, 16 million or thereabouts. One of the things that the Taxpayers Association has asked for in the past, and we would ask again, is that when an ordinance is adopted for a new bond, that not only do we know the amount of the bond itself and the length of the bond and the interest rate, but we'd like to know what the payment is each year for each of those bonds so that it can be looked at going down the road for the next 20 or 30 years, depending on the length of the bond. And if I run some very preliminary calculations, we could be looking at anywhere from 3, 4, 5 cents to carry the amount of new debt. And I know it doesn't come on all at one time, but over the period of the next 20 years, to handle the debt that we've just looked at, to pay it off, we'd look at 4 or 5 or anywhere from 3 to 5 cents additional taxes. So my request is, with the approval of the bonds, that it include the cost to carry that bond, principal and interest, which is a dual, two payments a year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Roush.
Yes, this was actually part of something that I requested when we reviewed the capital and the bond ordinances from Mr. Haney. So he's supposed to be providing sort of a schedule for council that'll include everything that's currently on the schedule for debt service, what's being added, what's coming off, and taking a look at that. So we will have that document.
I know he does it, because I've talked with him in the past. The other question is, of the bonds that you're approving this evening, how many of those are going to require the 5% down payment?
I just first want to clarify, with the bond ordinances we're approving, bond ordinances do not issue any bonds or debt.
Right.
This is just purely creating an appropriation for us. We issue debt every couple of years in one lump sum. The amount that is covered by the down payment, or that requires a down payment, is only the Ordinance 566-2025, the 4.62 million one.
That's the only one that require the down payment?
That's the only one. The utilities do not require a down payment.
Okay, thank you very much.
And let me just be clear that we all share in your same concerns. And frankly, we'd be happy to have the city manager and CFO attend one of your upcoming meetings, if that's okay with you.
Oh, yeah, we've always had an open discussion. There's never been a question of getting an answer. It's just,
right.
I think the public needs to know how much this principal and this.
Agree, I totally agree. And what you will see as part of that is there's no increase in our debt ratio as other debts fall off. So you will see that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else this evening?
Tim Dershowitz, 712 Franklin Street. I'm the union president for Cape May City Firefighters. Just wanted to say thank you guys, council, for your support during our most recent contract negotiations. much more appetizing than a few years ago. To the city manager, Mr. Dietrich, and deputy city manager, Justin Riggs, the process this time was just incredible. And can't thank council enough and you guys enough as well. So thank you for your support.
Thank you. And thank you for everything you guys do, so thank you. Anyone else this evening?
Hi, Trish Turnovy, 719, 721 Franklin. I just have a question about the smoking that is across the street in the library on the benches. There's constant smoking, and they put them out, and you can see all the black marks from people putting their cigarettes out. And I'm an avid person against smoking, you know. So I just didn't realize that you could smoke on library property, you know, with a library, number one, and it doesn't look very good when the trolleys go by and our guests go by, and other than, you know, they're ruining their health. So I just wanted to ask, what exactly can we do about that? Or is there some kind of an ordinance that we can pass about the smoking? They did it on the top benches
We
and on the bottom benches.
We have ordinances on the beach and on the mall in regards to.
And other public, and our public properties, however, where they're actually smoking is on the sidewalk, which is in the public right-of-way, which is harder to, you know, you can't really control that there. I thought about putting one of those smoking chimneys, yeah, that they could at least put their cigarettes out, but then that just encourages them to go there. So it's one of those, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of
So where-
situations.
What about the top bench then?
Well,
Like,
how about where are the benches?
thank you, thank you.
Are they on the property or on the sidewalk?
We have one, there's four that go up the sidewalk to the entrance that really isn't an entrance at the library on the front, and then we have one on the actual, along the sidewalk. I mean, it's unfortunate, you know, we have a bench over on the Washington Street side outside of the fire station, but we don't have that, you know, that's on the sidewalk and we don't have that issue. So it's just, that's a particular spot that somebody, you know, they just kind of want to hang out and go there. I mean, I can move the bench from that location.
Maybe
so
that, I mean,
that's-
you know, I'm not sure.
But I think they're just going to go right to that other side and use it. It's still going to be hard to, I mean, I can post signs in that area, but then I'm
Well, yeah, I mean,
continuing
especially
sign
because
litter.
children are going in there. I mean, there's, you know, a lot of,
Could you just put a sign on
But it's not,
the bench?
yeah, we could. But I don't know whether or not, I mean, Mr. Gillenschwartz, is it something that we can,
we already have an ordinance. I mean, I can't do that on the street, but on the property, we already have ordinances for no smoking on
so
public property.
is the bench on the property?
No, this one bench is out is
Then
really on the
If
sidewalk.
there's 4 other benches on the property, why just, yeah, try it.
Yes, I just wanted to say that it's the lower, like the lower bench, if it were moved, you wouldn't have the issue. The upper bench, it's, like I said, it's like right by the library door. I mean, if people were actually using that door, they'd have to go through the smoke.
Right, but that
And
door
it's
doesn't.
black, you can see, just check it out. So that's my issue.
We will look at it for sure. Yeah. Yep. Anyone else this evening, this afternoon? Still afternoon? Seeing none? We'll close public comment. Do I have a motion to close?
Do we have city council comments before?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, absolutely. I guess I'm anxious to get into that executive
Me
session.
too. I just,
Yeah,
I
sorry.
just have a question I should have asked earlier. That's
Okay. Sorry, having said that, city solicitor, any new business?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Okay, city manager,
Nothing, thank you.
city clerk?
Yes, just briefly, Council, for better or for worse, the new recycling regulations went into effect May 13th. Just a reminder that everybody should be, you know, implementing the new regulations. If anybody is confused, please reach out to my office. I can give you a copy of the ordinance to detail everything.
And Public Works will be sending out a flyer to all residents, just reiterating what the ordinance details, as well as they've started the public information contact on people that are not following the new updated ordinance. So we have a whole procedure of outreach that we're implementing.
Does that notice go out to businesses as well?
Yeah, that's going to be mailed to all property owners in the city.
And a reminder that the primary election is next Tuesday, June 10th. The polls will be open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Early voting starts today through June 8th, Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I believe the closest location is in Lower Township. If anybody has any election questions, please also reach out to my office. And just another reminder that for the remainder of the summer, regular city council meetings are scheduled for 3 p.m.
Okay.
That's it, Mayor.
Thank you, City Clerk. Councilmember Baldwin? Did I skip? No, I didn't, sorry. I feel like I'm jumping the gun. Okay. Councilmember Baldwin?
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Councilman Bodnar?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Okay. Deputy Mayor?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Councilman Meyer?
I just had a question for the city manager. What is our anticipated time schedule for the lifeguard headquarters? When are we going to go out to bid, and when do we plan on doing the construction?
So you have, with the adoption of the authorization for him to, Mr. Conley's office, to start on the design, this is also, he's working on completing the design for the police headquarters. In talking with him, it's going to take a full off-season in order to do the renovations. I'm not sure that he's going to be able to have the design done, vetted, and approved by council in order for it to go out to bid so that you can award a contract by August so that they can start work in September. I don't think it's realistic with that schedule. And then also, because of that tight schedule, we're also looking at if he has any hiccup on material deliveries of any kind, then I don't have a headquarters to open up next year. So realistically, it's going to be a project that will design over the next 12 months and have this ready to be at this point next year, going out for an advertisement for bid and have it authorized in the early part of the summer of 2026 to be constructed in that following off next a year from now is off season. Just realistically, I think that's where we're at. We couldn't have done it faster because we didn't. We had to also introduce a bond ordinance this evening to fund that project. So in order for those things to happen,
DEP approval.
Right.
and we also need
That was-
a CAFR permit approval for it. So for all those other things, it's just not realistic, and I don't want to put the jeopardy of not having a building ready for next season. So I think that most likely we'll do it, start it after the next season, and be able to
I
be
think the
prepared.
most exciting part is that it's finally going to happen, and we're going to be renovating that and being able to provide the necessary accommodations for both the male and the female guards, so with a timeline.
That's
so.
what I anticipate.
Yes. And if we have some of the, I'll say schematic plans up on the website under the future projects on the construction side, so that if anybody's interested in kind of seeing what the, both the floor plan and the elevations look like, it's up on the city's website.
I have just one more question, if
Sure,
I may.
yeah.
Is there, the recycling ordinance, is there a location on the website that people can look that up? Maybe through the Public Works?
I believe it's on the Public Works page, but I will verify that, but I'm almost
Eric
positive.
and I did talk about that, so, and I'm almost certain, Mr. Dietrich, that he had it put up.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen the proposed, what it looked like. Okay.
It's on the Public Works portion of
So
our
you don't have to go see Aaron, the city
You
clerk.
don't,
can
you're
go-
welcome to, but no, you can bypass me and go right to the website.
Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Motion will be to go into closed session.
Go to,
Closed session.
we still have to, do we not close this then?
We'll
Yep.
come down and close out.
Thank you, okay.
I don't like this no more.
I have no updates today. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
Yes,
Okay.
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
All good.
Okay.
Time is 4:59.
Everyone have a wonderful evening, and there's no anticipated action on this, right? Or is there? There's no anticipated action, so you probably don't need to wait. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. We are coming out of closed session where we will be taking no formal action. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Oh, sorry.
Which one?
Councilwoman
Oh.
Baldwin is questioning the time of the next meeting.
Yeah, if we could change that to 3:30.
Oh, I mean, it's fine with me.
Okay.
You can't make it before that.
I cannot, no.
3:30.
It's only, this is the only one.
Lorraine can be here. Should we have the closed session at the beginning of the meeting?
I can call. We can do that.
No, can you do the closed session before 3:30? You
No,
can't.
I can call in
Right,
at 3.
at 3.
Yes.
And do
if
the
you wanna
closed
do the closed
session.
session at 3.
Yeah, and then we go into, then we have a regular
Yeah,
meeting. Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, so,
So if you-
Zach, are we all okay with that? Yeah, okay.
And I
Right,
can
closed
Yeah,
session at
all
3
right.
PM, and
Okay.
then
Right.
I'll make that clear on the agenda so the public knows.
Okay.
We're not just
Oh,
sitting
okay,
here.
all right, yeah, okay,
Do we
good.
need a motion on that, or?
No, I can put the closed session in the beginning. That's fine. I just was considering if there's any ordinances for second reading and if what I published, if there were implications there. But that's fine, as long as I publish, if anything, I publish for 3. So if we meet at 3 and go into closed session, the only
Yeah.
thing is people might be sitting here for a little while. But I can make that clear on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay,
Are you good with that?
yeah.
You got it. Yeah, it's the.
Published annually already for 3 PM.
Yeah.
So if we can direct and.
What
you know,
happens when?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll do
okay,
closed session
good.
first. Works for me.
All right, good.
Okay, so again, we're coming out of closed session where we are taking no formal action. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second? Second. Thank you very much, everyone. Have